Think about a musician and their instrument, or a chef and their favorite knife. Well, for a programmer, that incredibly personal, essential tool is their code editor. It's so much more than just a piece of software, you know? It's the digital space where they actually build things, where ideas become reality. It's their workshop.
And when I say personal, I mean really personal. The choice of which editor to use is so deeply ingrained that it has literally sparked decades of passionate, heated debates. We're not talking about minor squabbles here. These are the legendary holy wars of the programming world, with developers defending their tool of choice like it's their kingdom.
So how did we get to this point? In this explainer, we're going to break it all down. We'll start with what a code editor even is, then track the incredible rise of one editor in particular, VS Code. From there, we'll look at some of the hidden problems that come with its huge popularity. We'll follow one developer's quest for something different, explore some real solutions for building a safer toolbox, and then wrap up by thinking about how the tools we use, well, they actually end up shaping us. Okay, so first things first, let's get our terms straight. What exactly is a source code editor? Well, at its heart, it's a text editor, but a super specialized one. It's built from the ground up specifically for writing and editing the source code that makes computer programs work. You can kind of think of it like a word processor, but totally supercharged for the very specific world of software development.
And what makes it so special? Well, it's all these amazing features that are built right in. Things like syntax highlighting, which, adds color to your code to make it way easier to read, or auto-completion, which is a lifesaver, suggesting bits of code as you type. You've also got tools for indentation and brace matching to keep everything neat and tidy, and debuggers to help you hunt down those annoying bugs. It's really a whole suite of tools designed to make coding faster and just a lot less painful.
All right, so that brings us to the modern era, which, let's be honest, is pretty much dominated by one single massive player. So how on earth did one editor manage to rise up and become the absolute go-to for millions of developers all over the world?
For a long time, the field was wide open. You had the absolute classics, like Vim, which came out way back in 1991. You had lightweight options, like Notepad++ in 2003. But then, in 2015, everything changed. Microsoft jumped into the ring with Visual Studio Code, or as everyone calls it, VS Code. It worked on every operating system, it was fast, and it tried to give you the best of both worlds, the simplicity of an editor with the power of a full-blown integrated development environment, or IDE.
And its rise was, well, it was astronomical. No other word for it. VS Code just hit this perfect sweet spot. It was fast, it had this massive library of extensions for pretty much anything you could ever want to do, and you could customize it to your heart's content. It was powerful enough for huge projects, but still easy enough for beginners to pick up. And just like that, it became the most popular development tool on the entire planet.
But you know how it goes. When something seems a little too good to be true, there's usually a catch. And the incredible convenience and power of VS Code? Yeah, it comes with some hidden trade-offs. And those trade-offs are all about privacy and security.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting, because there's a key distinction to make. The core engine of VS Code is open source, which is great, but the actual product you download from Microsoft, that's not. It's under a more restrictive license, and here's the kicker, it has telemetry enabled by default. That means it's collecting data about how you use it and sending it back home. Now, for people who aren't cool with that, there's a community project called VS Codium, which is the same core, but fully open source and with all that tracking turned off.
Now, the privacy concerns are one piece of the puzzle. But the security risks, that's a whole other story. A recent study looked at 377 of the most popular VS Code extensions and found that over a quarter of them, 26.5%, were classified as high risk. Let that sink in for a second. And this table, man, it really lays out the scale of the problem. Over 11% were critical risk, meaning they were doing shady stuff like connecting to malicious websites. Then you have the highly vulnerable group with permissions to do way too much on your machine. So the really crucial point here is this: it only takes one compromised extension to put your entire system, all your code, everything in jeopardy. So, faced with all this, some developers are starting to look for a way out. They're seeking alternatives. And it's not just about running away from risk, it's about running towards something better, towards a deeper understanding of their tools and more control over their own work environment, even if it means giving up a little convenience.
And this developer, Diego Frattini, he just nails the feeling. He points out that while extensions make things easy, they can also hide how things actually work. He wanted to peel back those layers to get closer to the metal and to really understand what was happening behind the scenes. It's a conscious decision to choose learning over just pure ease of use.
But let's be real, switching from a tool as powerful and familiar as VS Code is not a simple task. Frattini's approach, though, was really smart and methodical. First, he just listed out the absolute must-have features. Then he grouped them together by what they do. And his goal was to build what he called a minimum viable product, just enough to get working in the new editor. That way, he could switch over quickly and then just improve his setup bit by bit as he went.
So Diego's personal story is really powerful, and it highlights this desire for more control. But what about a solution for everyone? How do we get the incredible power of all these extensions without just, opening the door to all these unacceptable risks? Well, security researchers have actually mapped out a pretty elegant framework for this. It's a three-step process. First, an automated system profiles every extension to figure out its risk level. Then, for the risky ones, it creates a very specific policy, basically a strict list of rules for exactly what that extension is and is not allowed to do. And finally, it enforces those rules while the program is running using something called a sandbox.
This diagram shows you exactly how that works in practice. The sandbox is like a security guard or a gatekeeper. Anytime an extension tries to do something, like read a file from your computer or connect to the internet, the sandbox intercepts that request. It checks it against that pre-approved list of rules and decides right then and there, allow it or block it. It effectively traps any bad behavior before it can do any harm.
So, to put it simply, a sandbox is just a safe, isolated play area for a program. It's like giving an app its own little room where it can do its thing, but with really strong walls that prevent it from wandering out and messing with the rest of your system. It's a super powerful idea for managing risk in software today.
Okay, so a sandbox is a great technical fix for the security problem, but this whole journey we've been on, from the holy wars over editors to a developer rebuilding his entire workflow from scratch, it all points to something much, much bigger. The choices we make about our digital tools, they're not just about features, they fundamentally change how we think and how we work.
Frattini shares this little story that is just perfect. It's so relatable. After he switched to a new editor, its commands became total muscle memory for him. So much so that he'd find himself trying to use those commands in completely different apps. It's a great reminder that our tools don't just follow our commands. They actively train us. They shape our reflexes and our brain.
So at the end of the day, here's what it all boils down to. Our tools define our work. From the code editor a programmer uses to build an app to the social media apps we use every day. They give us so much: convenience, power, connection, but they always come with trade-offs. Trade-offs in our privacy, our security, and maybe even in our own understanding of how things work. So the real question I want to leave you with is a simple one. What trade-offs are you making with yours?